We are the FedEx of pipelining, and let me tell you why. Yeah, well, we've had a lot of luck working with Lifespan, who's kind of the managing partner overseeing the running and operation of those hospitals. And so here in Rhode Island, they run and manage Rhode Island Hospital, Hasbro Children's Hospital, Miriam Hospital, Bradley Hospital, and Newport Hospital. So we've all local Rhode Island boys know those places, probably been by, maybe hopefully haven't been into one, but we know of these hospitals. They're pretty brand names around here. So here's how it played out. We got called in from a contractor of ours that we've done work with in the past that had been working at the hospital, and they were going to dig and replace this section of pipe. They opened up the ground, they were going to replace it, and they realized that the bottom of this pipe was rotted significantly more than they anticipated. We call this the dig and chase method. So they're digging and seeing if they can get to what we call a good section of pipe. So you have to make a connection. You can't connect a good pipe to a bad pipe. As they're digging, they're getting closer and closer to two sterilizing sanitation machines. These sterilize the equipment that are used in surgeries. Two very important machines for a hospital, as you can imagine. They're getting closer and closer, and this pipe has no bottom leading right up to the connection of this. And as they realized, the pipe that the sterilizer were on had no bottom as well. So now we've uncovered a massive issue. So that's when we were brought in. We had done work at the hospital in the past. They were aware of our technology. Everybody kind of knew this is the potential fix for it. But the big question was the time frame and the downtime to the sterilizing piece of equipment. Again, the hospital probably has 5, 10, 100 surgeries a day, and all the equipment used before and after these surgeries gets cleaned and sterilized. This is for health and safety, no infection. So again, this hospital physically cannot operate on somebody, planned or an emergency basis, without these two pieces of equipment. These pieces of equipment have to be shut down in order for us to do our work. So you can see this give and take of push and pull of how are we going to go about coordinating and planning and working on the logistics of this project. They were going to dig and replace a section of pipe and a piece of floor that was, insignificant to them. They could dig it, no problem. But this pipe was underneath those sterilizing pieces of equipment. It physically could not be dug. What you would have to do is shut down those pieces of equipment for weeks. Physically move them. They're massive. You can't even move them. They're bolted to the floor. Take them away and dig that pipe underneath. So the cost of the project would have been 10, 15, 30 times fold what it was for us to come in and line the pipe. So that wasn't even an option. So if you do the scale of projects, right, you've got a residential, you're dealing with a homeowner, 2, 3, 4 people, right? You're working on that for a house. When you go to a business, you're obviously increasing the people, but really maybe it's an owner, a head of maintenance, 3, 4, 5 people. When you deal with a hospital, you have to think of the amount of people that not only work there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 people, the amount of people in the maintenance department, but really you think of the people that are coming and going in the hospital. So on one given day, a hospital like Miriam could have 1,000 people walking in and out of that door. So it's a lot more people to be concerned with. In return, the hospital has, like any corporation, procedures, steps, processes in place, not only to get a job like this approved, but to make sure they're checking all their boxes, right? So again, we've got the different phases of our business and we deal with. When we're doing a residential project, I talk to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They're the decision makers. We do business together. In a hospital, it's very, very, very different. We're usually working with a plumber or an engineer who's identified a problem and they're looking for a solution. After we present that solution to them, they have to go ahead and go through their internal procedures of probably a project manager, maybe a capital improvement fund. Where's this money coming from? How and where are we going to allocate it and pay for it? But then internally, also we've learned in the hospital, there's health and safety protocol people. There's infectious disease control people. These are all people that in any sort of project, there's air quality control people that are going to get involved on that kind of back end. And this project, like other hospital projects, we've had meetings with 10, 15 people who are asking us questions. How does this work? Where is this going to go? What's the timing? The timing in a hospital project is usually the most important thing. A lot of the projects we've done are the overnight hours because, again, that flow of people is a little less. We kind of minimize the disruption. And that question is, okay, well, how long are we going to be down? What's the disruption going to be? So a project like this took 3 in-person meetings from Mark and our team that probably took about an hour each, probably 10 to 15 emails back and forth with myself, the project manager, and 15 people that were CC'd on that email. So a project like this isn't look at the problem, submit the estimate, get the job approved. That's how it works, but there's so many other things behind the scenes. And so we talked about a job We got there at 8 o'clock. They shut down the sterilizers at 10. We were finished at 12:30. So we're talking 5.5 hours. That job probably took 10 to 15 hours of myself and Mark's manpower, brain, going back and forth and saying, here's how it needs to be done. How do you guys need it to be done? Let's work together on it. So it took 2 to 3 times more to plan the job than it did to take the job. That's what the logistics mean. The 2 times that we worked and submitted quotes and estimates to the other hospitals under the Lifespan brand, the jobs didn't come to fruition. And to be honest, I don't have an exact answer why, but the information and feedback I got from the people we're dealing with is usually budgetary processes. And so one specific instance at Hasbro Children's Hospital, they had a line that had been causing them issues for years, and they're looking to solve it permanently. And it was the same thing. We were brought in by a head of maintenance and that worked around the director of facilities. We presented the solution, went over everything, they got it, and it's been at this point a year within the budgetary process. And so it's not that they don't see the value, it's not that they don't know they have the problem, but again, there's many layers of what it is that they do. This project was less of an emergency basis. It's just more that, hey, we know we have a problem, we're maintaining it now, but we want to get it fixed. And so sometimes those projects take longer than other projects. A lot of these jobs take logistics, scheduling, coordinating. That's something that we take for granted, the customer takes for granted, or really any construction project people don't really think about. But specifically for the project we just completed at this hospital, it took multiple meetings with 10 to 15 people, scheduling logistics, coordinating, and minimizing the downtime for an extremely important piece of equipment that could affect hundreds, if not thousands of people in this hospital. And working through that and making sure the logistics are on point, that's what separates us from everybody else. Logistics on a job are overlooked, way too important. We pride ourselves on those. We're the FedEx of pipelining.